UK, I never felt like I was growing up as a girl as opposed to growing up as a person. Whereas you go to a country like India and you straight away feel that you are defined by your gender.
If you educate girls, then you have such an enormous knock-on effect to society as a whole.
I think it depends on which part of the world.
Thinking is generally more traditional in Hungary, and women experience more prejudice. And also I feel like the topic is less talked about.
Even though a lot of progress has been made getting girls enrolled in school, they're still less likely to be prioritised within their families for their education.
It's not only about giving the girls, for example, the education or the opportunities, it's about making them want them and making them feel that they deserve them.
Creo que los problemas de la mujer en la sociedad es que, bueno, pues principalmente que con los hijos pues tiene que compaginar entre el trabajo y los hijos, y las pobres no tienen tiempo, encima reciben menos salario que los hombres por un mismo trabajo, y encima puede que mejor hecho, muchas veces mejor hecho.
I think if there are any issues here, at least in Cambridge, I don't know about the whole UK, but people talk a lot about it, and if something happens, it's always discussed.
A group of, I guess, 10-year-olds were tested on a mathematics exam. They're also questioned how well they thought they did. And then it turns out that the girls scored more highly on average than the boys did, but on average the girls thought they'd done a lot worse than the boys had, which is a tragic, tragic story.
On a large scale, women always have to justify whether they decide to work or not to work, how they deal with children, how they educate them.
The idea that we have to do it all, you have to be the perfect mother, the perfect careers woman, and you have to do it all while having the perfect body.
When women do well in sport, it takes a while for the media to sort of pick up on it.
And on a very small scale, women always have to justify how and what they eat.
Should we support the protection of women, which is the dominant Indian mentality at the moment, or should we support the empowerment of women, freedom from their fathers as well as freedom from fear in public spaces? How deep-rooted is the problem of patriarchy?
Women can't walk around the street or go to clubs safely without being harassed by creepy guys.
Violence in the home. If we don't feel safe and supported in our own home environments, I think we're all the poorer.
The other day I was walking past King's Parade and a whole group of guys walked past me, were walking behind me, and they were like, I'm gonna fuck you up the arse, they were haggling me, and I just turned around and I screamed at them, and it felt so good. It felt so good, and I don't usually do that. Usually I just kind of, just shrug it off, but I was angry. I was so angry at these people, and they shut up, and I feel so lucky to be in a place where they do shut up.
Some examples of lad culture and the way that we speak about women. I heard someone yesterday talking about their friend's conquest, and I was like, that's not okay.
I think it's difficult for women to actually identify with any form of feminism, because I think there is a massive confusion over what it is, and I think that there's a tendency for a lot of the discourse around feminism in Cambridge to end up alienating people.
I found it really upsetting how, in my experience, women have not so much been silenced, but have felt unable for whatever reason to make their voices heard.
Cambridge still really feels quite a lot like a men's university.
Is it because girls are more likely to be quiet in supervision with a male supervisor than boys are, because girls are socialized to be quiet listeners rather than active participants?
We're inhabiting a space that is a patriarchal space, and we are in the process of changing it, but it takes time, and it takes the whittling away of traditional structures, particularly in a place like Cambridge where there's such a premium on traditions.
Your nasty lecture with 500 physicists, there's a lot more boys than girls. Why? Girls aren't inherently worse at science or technology or engineering, mathematics than boys are.
When you look around the hall in King's, there's only one picture of a woman.
So claustrophobic with all the old men looking down.
I mean, to me, feminism means equality between men and women, and people interpret it differently depending. Some people don't see it as that. A lot of men think that feminists are men hating, etc.
I would describe myself as a feminist because I believe that what feminism means is that women and men are completely equal in basically everything. rights and abilities, and they should get the same opportunities in life, and I do believe that strongly.
Women being excluded from certain societies within this college or within the university, it kind of leads to you feeling like this isn't really your space, which is why I love the women's dinner so much, because it feels like women are taking over and like using that space in a way it's never been used before.
I think that we need to be globally connected women so that we understand the plight of the sisterhood in order to understand our own kind of challenges.